When he finally reaches out after being silent for days, weeks, or maybe even months, your first instinct might be to feel a rush of emotion. Anger, confusion, excitement, relief, or even hope. But before you do anything, before you type a single word, take a deep breath. This is the moment where your emotional strength will either lead you or betray you. Silence can feel like rejection, and when that silence breaks, the mind can play tricks. It makes you want to respond right away to get clarity, to fix what felt broken. But the truth is, reacting emotionally only hands away your power. What truly speaks louder than any words is calm confidence. When you respond with composure, it shows that you've grown, that his silence didn't shake your inner peace. You've learned to control your emotions rather than letting them control you. Now, when he finally sends that text, how have you been? Don't overthink it, but also don't overinvest. Match his energy. If his message is casual, keep your response light and neutral. If he puts in genuine effort, then meet him halfway. This is about balance. Too many people think they need to prove their worth by over-explaining, over-giving, or chasing. But real connection never comes from chasing. It comes from self-respect, from valuing yourself enough to know that if someone truly wants to be in your life, they'll make the effort to stay. When you mirror his energy, you send a quiet message. I'm not desperate for your attention. I appreciate it, but my life didn't stop when you went silent. That calm, collected energy speaks volumes. It shows emotional maturity, confidence, and self-worth. When someone goes silent and then returns, the dynamic has changed. Whether you admit it or not, trust was shaken, and rebuilding that isn't your job. It's his. You don't need to carry the weight of proving you're still worth his time. If he walked away or disappeared, let him lead the way back. Let his actions show what his words can't. If he wants to reconnect, he'll call, plan, and show consistency. Don't fill the silence for him. Don't make excuses for his behavior. Let him do the work. When you stay patient and observe, instead of rushing to reconnect, you give him space to show his true intentions. Some people reach out because they miss your energy. It's not because they value your presence. That's why your patience becomes your filter. If he's serious, he'll show it through effort, not empty words. In moments like this, you must hold on to one truth. Your emotional standard matters more than his excuses. It doesn't matter why he disappeared. What matters is how his silence made you feel and what that reveals about what you need. Maybe his silence gave you peace. Maybe it made you realize that you've been holding on to someone who was never really showing up. Or maybe it reminded you of what you deserve. Consistent effort, real communication, and emotional honesty. Don't let the excitement of his message erase the pain of his absence. Don't fall for comfort at the cost of clarity. Remember, closure isn't something he gives you with words. It's something you give yourself by choosing peace over confusion. So, when he reaches out after silence, your job is not to punish, not to chase, not to over-explain. Your job is simply to respond from a place of calm awareness. A simple, composed reply like, "Hey, good to hear from you," is enough. From there, watch his actions. See if he follows up, if he makes plans, if he respects your time. Because if he doesn't, you already have your answer. You're not here to be an option, you're here to be valued. You don't need to beg for clarity from someone who already showed you what your place was during his silence. You deserve reciprocity, not breadcrumbs. And if he's truly changed, if he's reaching out with sincerity, consistency, and effort, then let his actions prove that over time. You don't need to rush into emotional openness. You can reconnect, but on your terms. The silence gave you perspective. It reminded you that your peace, your emotional energy, and your self-respect are priceless. Let him earn his way back into your life one respectful step at a time. At the end of the day, silence is powerful. Not just his silence, but yours too. When you learn to be comfortable with your own space, your own peace, your own company, no one's disappearance can shake you. You stop chasing answers, and you start living with clarity. You start realizing that not everyone who leaves deserves a return ticket. So when he reaches out after silence, remember who you are now, stronger, wiser, and no longer seeking validation from uncertainty. Respond with grace, but stay grounded in self-respect. Because the way you respond in that moment doesn't just define your relationship with him, it defines your relationship with yourself. When he finally reaches out after a long silence, it's easy to feel a wave of emotions flooding through you. Relief that he finally contacted you, frustration that he disappeared in the first place, or maybe even excitement that he's thinking about you again. All those feelings are natural, but the most important thing you can do in that moment is not to react emotionally. When emotions take over, logic fades. You might feel an urge to demand answers, send a long message, or express the hurt you've been holding in. But reacting from emotion gives away your power and shows that his silence deeply affected your peace. Instead, breathe. Give yourself time to process before responding. That space allows you to regain control over your thoughts and energy. Emotional control doesn't mean pretending you don't care. It means you're not letting your emotions make decisions for you. When you stay centered and calm, you send a silent but powerful message. You are not dependent on his attention for your peace of mind. You're not rushing to fill the silence or seeking validation through his response. This level of composure shows emotional maturity and confidence. It's the kind of energy that earns respect because calmness signals strength. It shows that you've built your sense of worth internally, not from whether or not someone texts you back. Often, silence is a test, not intentionally, but energetically. It reveals what you do when someone stops giving you attention. Do you fall apart, chase, and overthink? Or do you stay grounded, focused on your own life, and maintain your self-respect? When you respond calmly after silence, it shows that you've evolved. You're no longer reacting to temporary situations, you're responding from inner stability. That calmness becomes magnetic. It shifts the dynamic. Instead of him feeling that he's in control, he begins to sense your quiet confidence, your emotional independence. So that alone often makes people realize your value more than any emotional outburst ever could. So when he finally reaches out, whether with a simple hey or something more thoughtful, take a moment to ground yourself. Don't rush to reply. Smile, breathe, and remember who you are now. You don't owe anyone an instant emotional reaction. You owe yourself peace and clarity. Respond only when you can do so from calm awareness, not from old hurt or impulsive excitement. Because that's how you maintain your power, by mastering your emotions, not letting them master you. When he finally decides to reach out after being silent, it's tempting to pour all your emotions into your response, to show him you still care, to get answers, or to reconnect quickly. But that's where most people go wrong. The secret to maintaining your value and self-respect in that moment is to simply match his energy. If he sends a short, casual message like, hey, you don't need to reply with a long, emotional paragraph. Keep your response light, polite, and balanced. When you mirror his tone and level of effort, you're showing that you're emotionally steady and not desperate for his attention. You're not cold, you're just composed. It's not about playing games, it's about maintaining healthy balance and boundaries. When you match his energy, you communicate something powerful without saying it directly. You value yourself. You're not here to chase or overextend for someone who's only halfway showing up. You're letting him know with grace that your energy is reciprocal. If he gives effort, you'll meet him halfway. If he's vague or inconsistent, you won't compensate by trying harder. People naturally respect those who respect themselves, and matching energy is the most natural way to set that tone. You're essentially saying, I'm open to connection, but I'm not here to carry the conversation or relationship by myself. That quiet confidence keeps you grounded and keeps the interaction healthy. Chasing or over-investing, on the other hand, shifts the balance of power and creates emotional imbalance. When you start giving too much too soon, it signals that you value the connection more than your own peace of mind. It tells him that his attention determines your emotional state, and that's never attractive. True confidence isn't loud, it's calm. It's the ability to care without losing yourself. When you match his energy, you give him the opportunity to show his intentions through effort. If he's serious about reconnecting, he'll step up. If he's just testing the waters or feeding his ego, he'll fade away. And either way, you'll have your answer without wasting energy. So the next time he reaches out after disappearing, stay grounded. Read his message, feel your emotions, and then respond in a way that reflects how much effort he's actually putting in. Matching energy protects your heart, preserves your dignity, and reminds both of you that connection should be mutual, not one-sided. When a man who's been silent finally decides to reach out, it's natural to feel curious about his intentions. You might want to ask what happened, why he disappeared, or where things stand now. But the truth is, if he's the one who went silent, it's not your job to drive the reconnection, it's his. When someone withdraws and then returns, they should take the lead in rebuilding what they stepped away from. Let him initiate, let him plan, and let him show through consistent action that he's serious about reconnecting. The way he behaves after breaking the silence tells you everything about where his mind and heart truly are. If he's genuinely interested in rebuilding something real, he'll make an effort to see you, call you, and show that he values your time. You don't need to force the pace or guide the direction of the conversation. Sit back, observe, and allow him to take responsibility for the silence he created. When you give him space to lead, you allow clarity to form naturally. If he's sincere, you'll feel it through his consistency. If he's just checking it out of boredom or guilt, that will become obvious too. Your role isn't to push or persuade, it's to evaluate. Let his effort be the mirror that shows you how much he actually cares. By not taking over the reconnection, you show emotional maturity and self-respect. You're not punishing him. You're simply letting him show you what his intentions are. If you rush to take control or fill in the gaps, you may end up doing all the emotional labor, planning, explaining, and making excuses for him. That not only drains you, but also teaches him that he can disappear and still expect you to hold things together. Instead, allow his actions to do the talking. People who truly care don't leave you wondering, they show you through effort. If he's serious, he'll reach out again, he'll make plans, and he'll be consistent. If he's not, his energy will fade, and you'll know you didn't lose anything worth keeping. Letting him lead the reconnection doesn't make you passive, it makes you wise. You're giving him the chance to prove himself while preserving your peace. You're showing that your love and energy are earned through respect and consistency, not given out of habit or loneliness. If he wants to rebuild, he'll rise to the occasion, and if he doesn't, your silence will speak louder than anything else. When he reaches out after disappearing, it's easy to get caught up in his words, the apologies, the explanations, or the reasons why he went silent. You might hear things like, "I've been busy," or "I needed space," or "I didn't know what I wanted." And while some of those explanations might sound reasonable, none of them should distract you from the bigger truth: your emotional standard matters more than his excuses. It's not about why he disappeared. It's about how that disappearance made you feel and what it revealed about what you deserve. When someone goes silent, it creates uncertainty, and during that time, you probably felt ignored, confused, or even rejected. Those feelings are valid, and you owe it to yourself to honor them instead of brushing them aside just because he decided to come back. Focusing on your emotional standard means staying true to what you require in a healthy connection: consistency, respect, honesty, and effort. If his words don't align with those values, then no excuse can make up for the emotional instability his silence caused. You're not being harsh or unforgiving by expecting more. You're simply protecting your peace. Too often, people accept minimal effort after being hurt just because they want closure or comfort, but closure doesn't come from excuses. It comes from clarity. It comes from recognizing your worth and deciding that you won't lower your standards just to keep someone around. If he's truly sorry and wants to reconnect, his actions will speak louder than anything he says. You won't have to ask twice. You won't have to chase explanations. He'll show you through effort and consistency that he understands the value of your presence. But if all you get are words without change, that's not connection, that's convenience. Holding to your emotional standard means choosing peace over temporary validation. It means valuing how you feel when you're alone more than the confusion of being half-loved. So, when he reaches out after silence, listen, but don't lose yourself in the story he tells. Look at how his presence makes you feel. Does it bring peace or tension? Does it build trust or uncertainty? The answers to those questions will guide you far better than any excuse ever could. You have every right to expect consistency and emotional safety. And the moment you stop accepting less than that, you stop repeating the same painful cycle. Because in the end, it's not about what he says to win you back. It's about how you choose to protect your heart moving forward. At the end of the day, when he reaches out after silence, your response should come from strength, not emotion. You've already learned that silence reveals more than words ever could. It exposes your patience, your self-worth, and your ability to stay grounded even when someone else pulls away. The way you handle this moment defines more than your relationship with him. It defines your relationship with yourself. Don't react emotionally. Don't chase. Don't overinvest. And don't let his words outweigh your standards. Let him show through action whether he's ready to truly show up this time. You are not here to prove your value to anyone. You are here to protect your peace and honor your growth. If his return aligns with your emotional needs and he's consistent in his effort, great. But if not, have the strength to walk away with grace. Remember, your calm confidence is your greatest power. When you stand firm in your worth, you stop chasing explanations and start attracting respect. So respond with composure, stay true to your standards, and let your silence, your peace, and your self-respect speak louder than any reaction ever could.